Have you ever noticed? The most pain in life isn't when people reject you. It's when you reject yourself. We are all busy trying to please others, in convincing our friends, in managing our relationships, in making our boss happy. But in this race, we forget the most important person, ourselves. This is where the story of Invest in Yourself begins. There was a boy named Arav. He was from a middle-class family. His ambitions were big, but his fear was even bigger. Every morning he would wake up, look at himself in the mirror, and wonder, will I ever be able to do something big? But as soon as life brought difficulties his way, he would turn away from himself. He felt that perhaps this world wasn't made for him. One day at the office, a client left because of his mistake. That day, his boss said, "Arav, you have potential, but no consistency. You don't work on yourself." Those words pierced Arav's heart like an arrow. At night, he took out his old diary and wrote, "I have spent so much time impressing others that I have forgotten to improve myself." That was the night Arav decided. He would invest in himself first. Slowly, he started changing his habits. Waking up early, reading, working out. Initially, just 10 minutes, then 30, then 1 hour. At first, nothing changed. But then, after a few weeks, he realized. His mind was now calm. His confidence was now coming from within. He understood. Investing in yourself is not about ego. It's about evolution. Whenever we hear the word investment, we think of money. But the real investment is not in money, but in attention, discipline, and time. Because money can increase or decrease one day. But if your mindset, your clarity, becomes strong, you can conquer the whole world. Arav's story is our story. We all have that hidden potential which, with the right attention, can become an explosion. But the question is, do we invest in that potential or just get lost in the applause of others? Sometimes, investing in yourself seems selfish. But the truth is the opposite. When you invest in yourself, your behavior, your energy, your love, everything becomes deeper. You start giving better to others. Self-investment is not self-centeredness. It is self-responsibility. Think about it. Your mind, your body, your emotions, your energy. If you nurture them a little every day, a year later you won't be the same person. The same happened with Arav. After 6 months, that same client came back. Because now Arav didn't just do his job. He worked on his own growth, and the glow of that growth was visible in every interaction. That day he felt that success doesn't start with money, but with the clarity within. This is the real meaning of invest in yourself. Upgrade your mind, shape your habits, and direct your energy in the right direction. Little by little, every day. Have you ever thought? We all know we should work on ourselves, learn new skills, make our mind and body better. Then why do we procrastinate? Why, every time change is discussed, do we stop ourselves with some excuse? Actually, the fear is hidden not outside, but inside. It's the fear. If I change, I won't be the same person I am now. Humans love their comfort zone so much that they form a strange relationship with their mediocrity. We remain unhappy, but feel safe. We know it's not right, yet we stay there. Because familiarity gives us comfort, even if that comfort is slowly destroying us. The same happened in Arav's story. When he started working on himself, in the first few weeks he had to fight with himself. He struggled with procrastination, self-doubt, and guilt every day. Many times, the voice inside him said, "What's the use? Nothing is going to change." This voice is the most dangerous because it stops you before you even lose. Our brain likes comfort. It considers every change a threat. That's why whenever you try to improve yourself, like waking up early, working out, meditating, your brain sounds an alarm. Stop, this is new. This is uncomfortable. And we, hearing that fear, step back. But the truth is, growth is hidden behind every discomfort. Discomfort is the door to transformation. If you don't want to go through that door, you remain outside, where everything is safe but also stagnant. Self-doubt is the termite that slowly eats away your possibilities. You think of doing something new, but then your mind says, "Can I really do it?" And in this question itself, all confidence dies. Self-doubt ends when you stop trying to prove yourself and start improving yourself. Because self-investment means, I don't compete with myself. I evolve myself. Arav also realized, as long as he kept comparing himself to others, he couldn't see anything good in himself. But as soon as he focused on his own journey, he gradually became calm. Investing in yourself means your focus is on your effort, not on others' results. Just because others are ahead of you doesn't mean you are behind. Every person has a different speed. But if the direction is right, the destination is reached not late, but at the right time. The first step of self-investment is to see yourself. To see what your fears are, what illusions your mind is stuck in, and what you are running away from. Self-awareness is painful, because in it, you cannot lie to yourself. But this very truth opens the first door to self-growth. Gradually, Arav also realized he couldn't run away from the voice within. The fear that was holding him back was actually his guide. Every time fear arose, he told himself, if I run from this, I will remain where I am. And he moved forward through the fear because he had understood the only way out is through. When you start investing in yourself, you first collide with your old version. That version which is lazy, which is insecure, which is made of excuses. But when you cross it, a new you is born, who is not only better on the outside, but also peaceful on the inside. Self-investment isn't just about reading books or going to the gym. It is about upgrading your thinking, refining your energy, and considering your time sacred. Little by little, every day, you become the person you once imagined. Have you ever seen the top of a mountain? From above, everything is clear. The views, the paths, and the destinations. But that clarity doesn't come before reaching the top. First, you have to climb. Slowly, getting tired, gasping for breath, but consistently. Self-investment is a similar climb. Every step is difficult, but every step takes you higher. And to reach that height, you have to pass through 5 paths: mind, body, emotions, energy, and environment. First comes the mind. The mind is the ground where the seeds of your life are sown. If that ground is barren, no seed will grow. In his journey, Arav first learned to change his mind. He used to write affirmations daily, read, and catch negative thoughts to question them. He would ask, is this true? Or is it just my fear speaking? Slowly, he learned. The mind cannot be controlled, but it can be observed. When you watch your thoughts, you don't get stuck in them. And this observation is the first step to clarity. Investing in your mind means reading a little, thinking, and challenging your thoughts every day. Because if the thinking remains the same old, life will also remain the same old. Second, body. The body is the medium through which you function in this world. Yet we give it the least attention. We charge our phones, but not ourselves. Arav used to avoid exercise earlier, calling himself busy. But one day, when he realized his mind was tired, he understood that the cause of a tired mind is a lazy body. Then he started walking, just 20 minutes daily. And within a few weeks, his focus and energy changed. Because the body needs movement. Motion creates emotion. Invest in your body. Because if it breaks down, all your dreams will remain just thoughts. Third, emotions. Investing in emotions. This is an area we often ignore. We work, think, run, but never stop to feel. Emotion means energy in motion. If you suppress your emotions, that energy rots inside and slowly turns into depression, anxiety, or burnout. Arav stopped running from his emotions. He started journaling, started naming his feelings. Anger, fear, shame. He would write everything down. He understood, feeling is healing. What you feel sets you free. Investing in your emotions means listening to the child within you, not silencing it. Fourth, energy. Investing in life force. We all have limited energy. Every decision, every worry, every gossip consumes energy. And then we say, I don't get motivation. Motivation doesn't come from energy. Energy comes from motivation. One day Arav realized he was draining himself repeatedly on things that had no meaning. Arguments, overthinking, social media. He set boundaries. Where energy was leaking, there was now silence. Slowly, his mind became calm and his clarity returned. Investing in your energy means staying where there is peace, leaving where there is chaos. Fifth, environment. Investing in your environment. No matter how disciplined you are, if your environment is toxic, growth is impossible. Your environment, your friends, your room, your phone screen time, everything together shapes you. Arav distanced himself from toxic people, spent time with inspiring people. He wrote on his room's wall, I become what I consume. And the truth is, you become what you see, hear, and think every day. Invest in your environment because it is shaping you from within every day. When these five investments, mind, body, emotion, energy, and environment, come into balance, a person blossoms from within. Their eyes have a peace. Their words have truth, and their actions have direction. Self-investment is not a one-time task. It is a daily practice. A little improvement every day, a little reflection, a little discipline, and slowly your life starts molding into its best form. Every morning, when Arav looked at himself in the mirror, he didn't see the same face as before. Before, that face had fatigue. Now it had a glow. That glow which comes not from someone else's approval, but from self-confidence. He had learned that to change life, you don't need something big. Just small daily steps are needed. First, his mind was a battlefield, full of comparison, guilt, and worry all the time. Now it was calm, because he had learned to let go of control and learn acceptance. He would now change his reaction to situations before trying to change the situations themselves. He realized, until you find peace within, no success will give you solace. Self-investment taught him this. First, find your balance within, then touch the outside world. Before, Arav sought validation. People should notice him, praise him, like him. But now he knew his own worth. When a person learns to love themselves, they stop expecting from others. And only then do relationships become real, where not two incomplete, but two aware souls meet. He had now learned to listen. Now in every conversation, he tried not to be right, but to be true. Before, success for him was money, promotion, applause. Now success was living a balanced life. He no longer measured his growth against others, but against his own version of yesterday. He realized, success isn't about reaching the top. It's about growing through every fall. He stopped competing with himself and started learning. Every failure was no longer a loss, but a lesson for him. Because a self-invested person knows that every experience is their teacher. One day, when he got a big project, fear arose within him. Will I be able to do this? But this time, he didn't ignore that fear. He smiled and said, yes, I am scared. But that means I am growing. This was the difference. Before, fear stopped him. Now fear propelled him forward. He had learned. Confidence doesn't mean being fearless, but stepping forward despite fear. Now Arav wrote gratitude every day. He would go out in the morning to see the sun, observe people, and see every moment as a gift. He was now living his life not as a project, but as a process. He realized, when you invest in yourself, you stop chasing life and start living it. Self-investment had changed his entire lens. He now looked not at the outside world, but at the inner direction. He understood that we cannot change the world until we change ourselves. Now his self-talk had changed. Before he would say, I should do this, otherwise what will people think? Now he would say, I have to do this because it will evolve me. Before he demanded proof from life. Now he was giving presence to life. This is the real transformation, when your purpose changes from applause to awareness. Arav had now become a mentor. He taught others what he had learned, that the biggest investment is not in any company, not in any stock, but within you. Every day, when you make yourself a little better, you create a new reality. Because growth never comes suddenly. It blossoms slowly, in silence, like the first light of dawn. Sometimes, in the silence of the night when everyone is asleep, a voice rises from within. Have I become the person I wanted to be? That question shakes us because there is no pretense there. No audience, no applause, just you and your truth. And this is where real self-investment begins. When you start looking not at others, but at yourself. Arav's story had now changed. He was no longer that fearful, hesitant boy. He had become a person who knew his direction. Not complete, not easy, but true. One night, he was sitting on his balcony. There was a peace in the air, and the same stars were in the sky that he used to watch aimlessly before. Today, for the first time, he felt. He was no longer running outside to get something. He was engaged in understanding himself. We often think self-investment means learning skills, achieving success. But actually, it is a spiritual practice. It teaches you, who am I? What is my fear? What is my purpose? And when you start looking for answers to these questions, the ego slowly melts. You see that success is not a destination. It is just the echo of your journey. Every big change starts from within. Your mind, your emotions, your energy. When all these align from within, the outside world changes on its own. The people are the same, the situations are the same, but your perspective changes. And as soon as the perspective changes, the entire world changes. Irv had now understood this. He was now defined not by others' opinions, but by his own peace. The truly rich is not the one who has a lot, but the one who has contentment even with little. Irv now wrote gratitude every morning. I am alive. I am learning. I am changing. That was enough because the ultimate fruit of self-investment is inner peace. When you become stable from within, nothing from the outside can shake you. One day, Irv opened his old diary, the same one in which he had written, I have spent so much time impressing others that I have forgotten to improve myself. He looked at that page, smiled, and wrote, I no longer want to impress anyone. I just want to live in my true form. That moment was a symbolic moment, as if an old skin was shedding and a new person was being born. The real meaning of life is this: to become a little better every day, a little more aware, a little more kind. Investing in yourself doesn't mean you become perfect. It means you become present. You remain present in your thoughts, emotions, and actions. And this presence, this awareness, takes you to that peaceful life that every human seeks. If you are listening to this today, then perhaps you too have that fire within that wants to evolve. Remember, the biggest responsibility of your life is your growth. Ask yourself every day, what can I improve within myself today? Sometimes the mind, sometimes the body, sometimes words. A little improvement is real prosperity. Irv's story ends here, but your story has just begun. Because the path of self-investment never ends. It is the journey of life that makes you new with every breath, with every experience. When you work on yourself, your very existence becomes an inspiration for others, and then your being itself becomes your message. Therefore, from today, invest not in someone else, but within yourself. Because that is the only investment that never goes at a loss. Every time you evolve yourself, you make this universe a little more beautiful.